Happy Monday, Bookie Crushers! This is Professor MJ from Quebec City in Canada, and I've got 5 MLB picks for you for Monday, May 5th. But first, let's recap recent plays. And of course, I want to start by discussing the famous lobster bets. And remember that what I call a lobster bet is the very best wager every single day across all sports and leagues. So I told you last week that we held a perfect 8-0 record. Now I'm sad to report that we have not had as much success recently. Now we have dropped 3 of the past 4 lobster bets. Still, overall, we own a 9-3 record, which is fantastic, but the last few days have left a sour taste in my mouth. You can see towards the bottom the 3 bets that we lost, and we lost them all by a hair. On May 1st, we took Schonberg from the White Sox to record under 4.5 strikeouts, and he finished with 5 punch-outs. Now, 2 days ago, we took James Harden from the LA Clippers to get at least 6 rebounds. And in the early second quarter, he had already collected 4 rebounds. So we were on our way for an easy winner, but somehow he only got 1 more. He finished with 5 rebounds. So again, we missed tightly. And then yesterday, I took Stephen Kolek from the Padres to allow at least 5 hits, and he ended the game by giving up 4, so we lost the bet by a hair once more. But still, I'm very confident that we are going to bounce back very strongly. Now, and as far as, in case you're wondering, as far as the premium picks that I share at mjpicks.com, well, last week you can see the 39 plays that I shared. We finished with 25 wins and 14 losses. We had a bad Sunday, but we still finished, as you can see at the bottom, with a profit of 7.18 units. That means that if you typically wager $100 per play, then you would have earned a $718 profit. Now, we've been crushing sportsbooks since December. I don't have the exact numbers right here, but I know that we've gained more than 40 units since December. We have been crushing it. Alright, now without further ado, let's move on to today's baseball picks, shall we? Now my first pick of the day goes to the Miami Marlins with the +half a run in the first 5 innings of their game against the Dodgers. Now I must warn you that this is just a lean. I am not overly excited about this bet. Of course, betting Miami against the Dodgers sounds quite scary. Because I find it hard to step in front of the Dodgers train. And also, the starter for Miami is Sandy Alcantara, and he is a big source of concern. He currently owns an embarrassing 8.31 ERA on the back of a high 4.14 ERA last season. Now, so apparently he has not fully recovered from Tommy John surgery. Now, can he show some signs of life today? Well, in my opinion, we have 2 good news going for us. First of all, Alcantara's last outing was against the Dodgers, a game in which he surrendered 7 earned runs in 2 2/3 innings. In fact, he was disastrous right from the start because Shohei Ohtani homered on the very first pitch of the match. Now you may be wondering, well, why do you call this a good news? Well, here is why. Here is one of my observations. When you have a starting pitcher who gets rocked by a specific team and he pitches against the same opponent within the next few weeks, then he tends to rebound quite nicely. This is what I've observed. So I feel like Alcantara could bounce back with a fairly solid performance. I'm not saying he's going to shut out the Dodgers, but I think he can limit the damage in the first half of the game. Also, I'm taking the Marlins because they qualify under a betting system called the snapped winning streak, which is one of my top baseball systems among the 19 I have developed. By the way, we don't have that many picks that qualify under my betting strategies today, but strangely enough, they are all very solid systems, those that I value the most. Now, let me show you the rules of this system. They are quite simple and yet super effective. Fade the road team if they have lost their previous game after winning at least 5 in a row. Now, in the current case, the road squad is the Dodgers, and they did lose their last game by a 4-3 score in Atlanta. And prior to that, they had won 7 consecutive contests. So by following those rules, we must fade the Dodgers, which is why I'm taking the Marlins. Now, I was too scared to go with the Marlins to win the game outright, so that's why I am opting for the first half run line instead. This is just a matter of personal preference. So that's my first pick for today. The Marlins plus half a run in the first 5 innings. Now, about an hour ago, the best odds were plus 100 in American format, which equates to 2.0 in decimal. My next play concerns the San Diego versus New York Yankees showdown. And in that game, I am betting the Yankees to win straight up at minus 140 odds, which is the same as 1.714 in decimal format. Well, the Yankees are coming off a disappointing series against their division rivals, the Tampa Bay Rays. After winning the first game 3-0, they lost 3-2 and 7-5 against the Rays. Now, if you look at the last 21 games played by the Yankees, they have not lost a game by a margin of 3 runs or more. So in other words, they are on a stretch of 21 consecutive games where they have either won or lost by 1 or 2 runs. So it's been a while since they suffered a big loss. Now, the Padres are currently riding a nice 5-game winning streak. But I'm taking the Yankees mainly because of the stingy pitchers system, who owns an 8-4 record this year and who has performed very well in recent seasons. Let's take a look at its rules. The stingy pitchers recommends fading the road team if we have a visitor. If they won their past 2 games by allowing either 0 or 1 run in each of those victories, and if their money line today is smaller than plus 150. Now, in the current case, the Padres are the visiting club. They did win their past 2 matches by giving up exactly 0 and 1 run respectively, and their money line today is much smaller than plus 150. So that's why I am going with the Yankees to win straight up. Now, of course, Nick Pivetta starts for San Diego, and he's been spectacular with his new club. He currently owns a 1.78 ERA, along with a solid 0.82 whip statistic. But he did squander 3 runs to the Giants in his last outing, so he's not invincible. And of course, he's facing a very tough Yankees lineup. Now, the New York is sending Carlos Rodon on the mound, who owns a rock-solid 0.98 whip stat. So he is very capable of shutting down San Diego. And in fact, Rodon has been on fire lately with 2 earned runs across his last 19 innings pitched. So basically, in his past 3 outings, his ERA has been 0.95, which is awesome. Alright, the next pick, so this is pick number 2. The next pick concerns Houston, Milwaukee. In that game, the next pick concerns the White Sox against the Royals. And in that game, I'm betting the under. more precisely under 8 runs at minus 106 odds with BetRivers, Bally, Unibet, and Leo Vegas about an hour ago. Now, why do I like this pick? Let me share some arguments with you. Well, first of all, I trust Cole Ragans a lot. He was solid in his 2 prior seasons, and he was playing dominant in his first 4 outings this season. Now, he did give up 9 earned runs in his last 7 innings across his past 2 appearances. But to me, this is a great opportunity to bounce back. First of all, he is facing a weak White Sox offense. Secondly, Ragans will be pitching at home. And finally, and this is very important, he has a rested arm because he just skipped a turn in the rotation due to a groin strain. So I'm very, very confident that he will shut down Chicago's offense today. Now, on the other side, rookie Shane Smith is handed the ball for the White Sox. He's been awesome. He has not allowed more than 3 runs in any of his 6 outings. And also, the Royals' offense has not been more productive than Chicago's offense. In fact, KC has scored 120 runs so far this season compared to 124 for the White Sox. So I do expect a low-scoring affair in this AL Central Division matchup. So that's why my third pick is the under in the White Sox-Royals game. Up next, and now I'm going to talk about Houston-Milwaukee. This is pretty much a toss-up game if you look at the odds, and I'm betting the home squad, the Brew Crew, to win outright against the Astros. Now, I like this play more than others. For example, I told you that to me the Marlins are a lean. The Brewers, I like this play quite a bit. I feel like Houston's confidence could be broken after losing 2 of 3 against the hapless White Sox. What the heck was that? Also, the Astros have been much weaker on the road, whereas the Brewers have been much stronger at home. And also, the Brewers qualify under the big upset number 2 betting angle, and this is a system that is graded 5 stars. Also, it produces an average of just 20 wagers per season. So when I have the opportunity to bet it, I do it. And also, out of the 19 betting strategies that I have developed, this is the only one that showed a positive profit in each season between 2019 and 2023. Now let's review its rules together. It recommends fading any team that meets the following 3 criteria. Number 1, it lost its previous game to a team whose money line was greater than plus 150. So basically, we're looking for a team that was the victim of a big upset. Number 2, the team in question must be facing a different opponent, and they must be viewed as an underdog today. Now, let's see how it applies to today's game. Well, the team that we're talking about here in the big upset number 2 rules is Houston. They were the victim of a big upset in their last match by losing against the White Sox. They are facing a different opponent. They are not facing the White Sox anymore. They are playing in Milwaukee. And they are viewed as very, very tiny underdogs. So for these reasons, I must go with the Brewers. Now, Houston will start Ronel Blanco, who was a star last year with a 2.80 ERA. So far this year, he has not looked the same with a 5.08 ERA, and he has allowed 3 runs or more in 4 of his 6 appearances. And one of his biggest issues has been allowing too many walks. But we do have a similar scenario regarding Milwaukee's starter, Tobias Myers. who posted a 3.0 ERA last season compared to 5.14 so far this season. But he has only pitched 7 innings this year, so I'm hoping he can bounce back at home in today's contest. So that's why my fourth pick goes to the Brewers to win outright against Houston. Alright, so I promised I would share 5 betting picks with you today. So here comes the fifth and final one. I'm opting for the Ace moneyline as slight underdogs at home against Seattle. Well, so far the Ace are giving their fans some hope. But who are their fans exactly? Are we talking about people from Oakland, Las Vegas, or Sacramento? Well, no matter what, they have been playing solid baseball with a 19-16 record that includes going 9-3 over their last 12 matches. Alright, and so that's obviously a huge improvement compared to last year's 69-93 record. Now, just like the Marlins, which was my first pick today, the Ace fit under the snap winning streak system. Remember its rules that were quite simple. We must bet against the road team if they lost their past game after winning at least 5 in a row. Now in this case, Seattle is the visiting squad. They lost their past game after winning 6 in a row. So by following the rules, we must fade them. And that explains my pick on the Athletics. Now both starters have put up good numbers this year. So we have the young Bryce facing a more experienced Luis Severino. Both are showing an ERA hovering around 3.4D this season, but we have a big difference in terms of the all-important WHIP statistic that I value so much because I feel like it is a much better indicator of future success. Bryce Miller's WHIP stat is 1.43, which shows he has been a below-average pitcher who's been a bit lucky. So there has been a lot of traffic on the bases, but somehow he found a way to limit the number of runs allowed. And so his WHIP stat has been 1.43 compared to 1.17 for Severino, so it's been much better. Also, if you are contemplating betting the Mariners, you may be worried by the fact that he admitted suffering some nagging injuries. In fact, Miller said a few weeks ago that he had some arm soreness, and he also had some severe back pain a few days ago. In fact, he did not sit between innings during his last outing because he was worried to make it worse. So to me, that does not look good. He seems a bit bothered by injuries, so I feel like Severino is more likely to do well. So I am betting the Ace to win this game. So there you go with my 5 free plays of the day in Major League Baseball for May 5th. So I'm Professor MJ. Thank you very much for watching, and here is a very important mention. Please subscribe to this channel. We have many thousands of people following my work. I'm very grateful that you're watching this video. So hit the subscribe button now and click the little bell to get a notification every time I post new content. So I provide a lot of free picks across many sports and also some sports betting lessons and strategies. So thank you again, and I'll see you again tomorrow with more MLB picks. Cheers, guys!